Fakes left, now taken off. Gonna run for it, got it! And there he goes! The 6 and the 10, the 5! Oh, the play of the year in the NFL!
All right, everyone. We're here with the very first episode of Buds Mafia. I'm here with my boy, Jackson Dick. I started Buds and Pucks a few months ago, just doing hockey content, mainly on the Leafs, but just overall hockey. And me and Jackson, we've always been wanting to start a podcast, and we basically talk about it in office all the time. And we're like, fuck it, let's just start recording our office conversations, basically. But we wanted to incorporate the Bills too, because we both love football, and my partner across the screen loves the Bills, as you can see, Bills Mafia. So we're going to start this kind of side content account called Buds Mafia and see where it goes. We want to do it for a long time. So Jackson, welcome to the journey here with Buds Mafia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm pumped. It's a great time to start the podcast, especially because the Leafs, other than the last two games, were humming, and then the Bills are humming and going up against the Ravens next week. So
yeah, we've been stalling it for a bit. We've been saying for a while that we're like, hey, let's just wait till next week. It's okay. Then it's divisional, then AFC, then it's kind of like, hey, fuck, we can't talk about the Bills or for a while. So we thought, let's get right into it. We missed the divisional, or at least we missed the wild card, but we'll talk about kind of maybe what we thought about it going into it and kind of talk about the divisional. We only just one game left that's on right behind me. That's going to start an hour or so. Let's start with the Leafs, though, because I think football is a lot bigger right now, especially with the Bills, but let's start with the Leafs. Lost 2 games in a row. They lost 6-3 to Carolina, lost 3-0 to Vancouver. They won 5 games in a row, but I think we talked about it, even with those 5 games, I don't think they looked very good.
No, they didn't play well.
And Carolina, they scored. I think they scored. It was 2-0 in like the first 3 minutes.
Nylander had scored 3 breakaways.
Yeah, Nylander had all of them. Like he didn't score in 8 games, I don't think, and then he finally scored, and then just all hell broke loose. I think it was 4-2. Then we made it 4-3 or whatever. Then. Fuck, I hate Carolina. They're them and Islanders are one of the most annoying teams to watch because they basically play man-on-man defense on the fucking ice, and it's so annoying. But it works. But that's not how you can play. The Leafs can't play that way. They can't keep up that way. So, yeah, Carolina deserved that win, and we got fucking tossed around.
I won't lie. You're going to throw out some hockey man-on-man defense. I couldn't tell you what man-on-man defense is. For those of you listening, I never played hockey in my life. I love watching hockey. I think it's one of the best sports.
I never played football in my life, so that's fine. I played flag football for 1 year when I was like 8 years old.
Well, let's be honest.
I put a kid in the hospital too.
If you had some nice hands, if you had a pair of mitts on you, hell of a tight end.
Yeah, I won't catch him. True story. Back in when I was like 8 years old, I played flag football and I ran the wrong route. And I was a big boy. I was when I was 8 years old, I was like probably 160 pounds for an 8-year-old. And I completely ran the wrong slant route, and I just put this kid right in the hospital. Like literally, an ambulance came, and then I quit right there. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's go put him back. Let's put the skates on and go back on the ice. I didn't want to do that anymore. But yeah, and then the Vancouver game, I watched more of the Carolina game or the Vancouver game, but from what the highlights I saw and kind of the brief moments I watched, probably one of the worst games of the year. Do you see Marner's quote after the game?
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, he's like, I thought we played pretty good. I thought our effort was there. It wasn't there, Martins. It was horrible. You played horrible, and just whatever. Worst game of the year.
And they're still first in the division.
That's
absolutely wild.
I can't see how they're first in division, and it's scary because Florida's right there. Florida's not playing the greatest. Tampa passed Boston now, which is of course. I think about it. It's Toronto, Florida, Tampa, and of course who we'd play right now in the playoffs would be Boston again. Which I don't care how shitty Boston could go 0-82. And I'd be scared to play the Boston Bruins. I don't care. I don't care how they are. I get scared. I don't want to play them. I'd rather play like Columbus is in the playoffs. Pittsburgh might make the playoffs. I'd rather play those fucking teams. I don't want to play Boston. I don't care.
Did you see, speaking of Boston, did you see Marchand when the reporter asked him about pasta? It's so good.
There's no way they have beef. I don't believe that for 1 second. They've been in teams for over 8 years. Like there's no way they have beef in the
I think they're just manufacturing. It's the same with the Elias Pettersson. Obviously, I think there's more validity to the Elias Pettersson than JP Miller, but still, it's just crazy, especially up in Canada. Like you try to, the media blows things so far out of proportion. Yeah. Like it's insane.
So the next few games, I got Dallas tomorrow. I think that Dallas is still one of the best teams in the league, even if they're maybe not at the top of their conference. That's going to be a tough one. I'm hearing Stolars is back on the ice, which is good. The fact that we're first in division with him out was huge. That'll be a big game tomorrow. I think it's in Dallas. I'm not positive, though. Devils Thursday. We're 2-0 against the Devils, even though I think both those games we got completely outworked. I think it was the last one where it was like 40-10 in shots.
Yes,
And
yeah.
Got the breakaway winner. So, and the Keith's back in town. Then Montreal Saturday, then Lightning Monday. So big
That's
games
a tough
for
fight. Montreal is humming.
They are humming. And
Line A in his return, just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's gotten, I think all his goals are power play goals, which is absurd. Lane Hudson leads the NHL in rookie points, which is nuts. He's like 32 points. I still have Celebrini as rookie of the year. Let's see. I'm seeing more ramping up of like Leafs kind of trade deadline. I mean, I think they've said every single time it's center. Like we talk about Brock Nelson. Kadri would be my dream, but I don't know.
You want Kadri back?
Oh, I love Kadri back. You kidding me? I still know it just sucks that he's playing really good right now, but he has like 5 more years at like $7.5 million. So I don't really know if you want that. So, but I would still take him. I like Yanni Gord too on Seattle. He only makes $5 million and he's really good. He was on those Tampa teams when they won the cup. And I'm hearing O'Reilly as well. So any of those guys I'd really like, but
I don't know if O'Reilly will come back. O'Reilly didn't seem very happy at the end of his tenure. Yeah, he didn't seem very happy at the end. Well, it was literally he signed a 1-year deal, did he not?
With Islanders or Toronto?
With Toronto.
No, we got him at the deadline. Then he left.
Then he left the next year.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see that happening.
I love Brock Nelson. Also a stick on the golf course.
I heard all those Islanders guys are pretty nasty on the course.
Yeah.
All right, well, yeah, I don't know much about Leafs. This Dallas, Devils, Montreal, and Lightning. I think that might be a tough stretch. I would say they're going to lose to Dallas, lose the Devils, and then make 2 wins against Montreal and Tampa Bay. What do you think?
You think they're going to go on a 4-game skid?
Oh, yeah, I think so. That's what Leafs do. They'll win like 10 games, then they'll lose that exact amount. So
I think out of these games, they'll probably go 2-2, but I think they'll split them. Probably lose at Dallas, beat the Devils, lose in Montreal, and then probably beat the Lightning. I don't know. The Lightning's tough.
Lightning are tough. They passed Boston. They're just as good now. I mean, Braden Point's lighting it up. Kucherov's lighting it up. So Jake Gensel. So that's another team I wouldn't want to play if I'm Toronto. But there's so many teams. If you look at the Eastern Conference wild card, it's literally like Buffalo's basically out of it. But it's like 4 teams at 44 points. Like it's basically the second last team in the Eastern Conference is like 3 points out of the playoffs. So if you lose like 2 games, like if you're Columbus or something, you're out of the playoffs. So that's why like that game for Montreal is huge. Tampa, all those teams where again Toronto's pretty comfortably at the top, which I still can't believe. But
they're at 56 points. Florida's at 53, and then I think the slew of the rest of them are like 46.
It's insane. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know if the Leafs have ever won the Atlantic Division since it's been the Atlantic Division. I don't know if we've ever had the number 1 seed. We've had 54 win seasons, but I think Florida or Tampa or Boston have always beaten us. So yeah, that's all we got on Leaf talk. I mean, we'll see with closer trade deadline here. I'm hearing more rumors about Marner and Tavares. I'm hoping that deal gets done. But yeah, what do you say? Should we move it over to the NFL wildcard weekend?
I mean, yeah, the wildcard weekend was. I don't like how they got rid of the super wildcard. You notice that? So in 2020, they brought out became NFL Super Wildcard Weekend. And then this year, out of nowhere, they posted the graphics and it was just NFL Wildcard Weekend. Like, keep Super Wildcard Weekend. It makes it fun because if you look at the divisions and the teams you get in, it is ridiculous. Some of the records. Like, I think there's rumblings that they're talking about it, but I think they have to change the way that they do the playoff seeding. Because in no way, shape, or form should all 4 yes, if you win your division, you should get into the playoffs, but it's kind of ridiculous in the way that it is done.
Well, the Vikings were 14-2 or whatever. Now they
dropped to the 5th seed.
Yeah, they're 14-3 or whatever.
They dropped to the 5th seed. They have to go to LA. They're going to Arizona now because of the wildfires. Yeah, and they have to play an LA team that is humming. I
have the Rams in that one.
I don't know. It still hasn't been played. It's so tough. Like, you need Sam Darnold to not make a mistake. I would say he can throw one interception and they can still win the game.
Yeah.
If you have a Sam Darnold game where he throws 2 interceptions,
yeah,
like, you have too many weapons on both teams on the offensive side of the ball. It's really going to be what defense can hold you to 3 points instead of 7.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings they're 2.5-point favorites. The over/under is 48 points. I think they're gonna. Again, I would smash the over. I think it's gonna be a slinging contest. If Darnold plays the way we've seen him throughout the year, if he plays like he did last week, I know Detroit kind of just played the best defense I've ever seen. But if he can play like he did, beginning of the season where he's throwing 3 touchdowns a game, I can see this being like a 42-37 game.
If I was the Vikings, I'd immediately establish the run with Aaron Jones. Immediately establish the run. The Bills established the run when they played them earlier in the season, and obviously the Bills lost that game. Josh Allen had fucking 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns, and fucking Bills still lost.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. But if they can establish the run and win the time of possession game, like we saw it yesterday with Buffalo, saw it with Baltimore, you see it with these games where it's like time of possession when it comes to the playoffs matters immensely. I don't know. I think it's tough too because Kyron Williams is good. He's definitely an established back, and I do like him, but I'd take Aaron Jones over him every day.
Yeah, I would too. I think just these people see Kyron Williams numbers, and he puts up numbers every time, but he doesn't really stand out too much there. He has 14 touchdowns this year, which is insane. And he's like, I bet him anytime touchdown all the time.
No, yeah, I don't know. It really, to be honest, it depends too, because Cooper Kupp's had a silent year.
Yeah.
They barely play him. Yeah. They really put him in for third downs. And then you sit there and Puka Nacua is gone nuclear again after I think last year he broke the single season receiving record for a rookie.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. And you sit there and you're like, they have so many weapons. I would not want to play the Rams. Like, if I'm the Eagles, I would not want to play the Rams.
No,
the
I wouldn't either. I would
dunked yesterday.
I would not. I'm not scared of the Eagles whatsoever. We talked about today. I think Jalen Hurts is one of the most overrated quarterbacks. He's not. I don't think he's good at all. You can say how many touchdowns he fucking has. I don't care. How many touchdowns does he have that's over 5-yard rushing? Like, there's none. Like,
it's ridiculous.
I don't care how. And his one touchdown pass, the guy was just wide open. And he has the best O-line you have ever seen. So he has 20 seconds in the pocket, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna find this wide open guy." Which, again, he made a good throw, but it's just like, I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback at all. So I don't know.
Well, that's what pissed me off last year when people were comparing him to Josh Allen, because they tied for, I think they both had 15 rushing touchdowns as quarterbacks, and it's like people this year will not stop talking about Josh Allen. And I know people are going to think I'm just an absolute dick rider for the Bills, which I am.
Hey, you are.
But they will not stop talking about how Josh Allen has a tush push for a touchdown. And it's like, okay, these are the same fucking people last year who were like, oh my God, Jalen Hurts is the next coming of God. And then they get bounced by the Bucs in fucking horrible fashion. Jason Kelsey's last year playing football. And you get bounced by the Bucs in Tampa. And you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And fucking A.J. Brown yesterday is sitting on the sideline reading a fucking book. Yeah, that's not a team that's beating Detroit or L.A. or fucking – like, to be honest, if the Bucs – I don't even think they beat Washington. Like, Washington –
I don't know. So Detroit is, I won't say my second team. My brother's a Detroit fan his entire life, so I do want them to do well as well. This might be the easiest path to the Super Bowl they've ever had. If the Eagles win the divisional game, squeak out of that because maybe it's a home game, the other team just can't play their way. I think the Lions smack them. I think the Lions smack any of the team right now in the NFC. Yeah. I think Stafford in the playoffs always scares me. I think he could put up a good showing against the Lions, but we saw what he did against Darnold and Jefferson. Like, I don't know if any team's beating the Lions out in the NFC.
No, I don't know. It's tough because realistically, like, Jaden Daniels, great first year, gonna win Rookie of the Year. In my opinion, should win Rookie of the Year. Their offensive Rookie of the Year at least. Yeah. But that
when he runs pisses me off. Keep going.
You want to talk about the way quarterbacks run? Look at fucking Kyler Murray. He runs like a Roblox character.
He's like so lanky. He kind of runs like he's like shimmying like that. But then I don't know. It's my hot take.
That's your hot take. I love it. But no, yeah. I mean, you want to run through it. Like, Texans Chargers, stinker of a game. Don't even want to talk about it. Horrible game. Texans
Chargers there. They're 3-point favorites, 41.5 points. I mean, Texans won 32-12. I mean, I thought Chargers were going to win. I think they have established offense. Herbert's healthy for the first time in the playoffs for a while, but he threw 4 fucking picks. I don't know what happened. I didn't
He
think
throws 4 picks, horrible pick 6, and then you have the most insane 4 downs of football ever. You have sack, 86-yard touchdown to Lad McConkey. Cam Dicker gets a kick block and decides, oh, I'm going to jump up and fucking swat the ball forwards, and they take it back for 2 points.
Yeah.
To make it 25-12. Like, if I'm Harbaugh on the sideline, which you saw it on the broadcast, he's losing his mind.
I thought he was going to have another heart attack, honestly.
Like, fuck, man. Like, it was just there's no way. I mean, people are saying, like, what's his name from First Take, or not First Take, Nick Wright. He says, like, obviously it's the Arrowhead Invitational every year. Like, teams have to go into Kansas City, which, fuck Kermit the Frog.
Yes, sir.
But there's no way the Texans go in there and the Chiefs don't drop 50.
Yeah, you're talking about a well-rested Mahomes on that bad ankle, and you don't think they're just they probably game plan for both teams. I feel like they would have expected the Chargers to win, but fuck, I mean,
to be honest, if the Chargers were going into Arrowhead, I would have more faith. The Texans going into Arrowhead, they play in Texas.
Yeah,
they have a dome. And you're going into what is probably going to be last year when the Dolphins went in and played the wild card game. It was the coldest game almost ever recorded in NFL history.
Yeah.
And CJ Stroud this year is
so mid.
Horrible.
People are talking now. Like right now, would you rather have Bryce Young or CJ Stroud the way Bryce Young played the last few weeks?
The way Bryce Young finished the season, some of his throws,
confidence, man, just confidence. Like 3 touchdowns, running the ball. Like he just looked good. His throwing was unbelievable.
The nice thing about Bryce Young is you have an older wide receiver in Adam Thielen, who played in Minnesota, played great years in Minnesota. Amazing wide receiver, underrated in my opinion.
He's very underrated,
especially now on the Panthers. He was definitely properly rated on the Vikings.
Yeah.
But you look at it and you're like, CJ Stroud has Nico Collins, who is gross. Like, don't get me wrong, he went off in the game, but he's boomer bust with big plays.
Yeah.
And you have Stephon Diggs, who is a cancer to every locker room that he's ever been in.
Yes, sir.
Started in Minnesota when they fucking, they went around and asked the players who you wouldn't want to date your sister, and then a video came out and it was all Stephon Diggs. Should have been fucking red flags.
He was so butthurt about that too. He's like, who the fuck do you think it is?
Yeah. And then he comes to Buffalo, has a great year with Buffalo. In 2020, they go to the AFC Championship game, and he has the fucking memorialized fucking picture of him standing watching the Chiefs celebrate the AFC Championship win. 13 seconds, like, suck my fucking nuts. And then you have him losing his mind in the divisional round game against the Bengals, losing his mind to Josh Allen. And then you have him last year in the wild card game when Josh Allen throws a 60-yard dot. Probably one of the best throws I've seen. Dot. And Stephon Diggs jumps. It's like, you get paid millions of dollars. We took $38 million in dead cap this year, or whatever the fuck it was, for you to sit there and be like, oh, it was the worst time I've ever had playing in my football career. And then you go and you tear your ACL. Like, yeah, you had great games with the Texans and you played well again with the Texans, but like, the Texans have a decision to make next year. They brought him in on a 1-year deal. Like, if I'm the Texans, if I'm D'Amico Ryan, then I'm sitting there, I'm like, we have Joe Mixon, Tank Dell, who's going to come back. Yes, that injury was absolutely disgusting.
That was bad,
and they are arguably talking about him being done. And then you have like a slew of other wide receivers. Like, I forget all the time, they have Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is amazing.
Oh my God, yeah.
He's a great tight end.
He is.
Like, I don't know.
The Chiefs will probably be 9-point favorites in that game.
I think the early line is 7.5 to 8.
Yeah,
it'll probably be around the same.
Last game they played was in 2022, and the Chiefs beat the Texans. Yeah, they're 2-0 against the Texans in the playoffs. Obviously, there's that crazy AFC Divisional Round where KC won 51-31 when they're down 28-0 or 24-0. Then 2016 they swept them 30-1 or 30-0. So yeah, I think we both have Kansas City in that one, and I don't think it will be close. I don't know what the over under would be, but
I hope the Texans win. I hope the Bills win. And I get to watch CJ Stroud come to Buffalo and just implode.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about the next AFC game, the Ravens versus the Steelers. I thought Steelers had no chance, which they didn't. I mean, 28-14 wasn't a complete blowout, but the Ravens were 9.5-point favorites going into this game. I thought, I mean, the way that we watched Pittsburgh play the Bengals, who have a horrible defense and only put up 7 or 10 points, I knew Steelers were going to get absolutely whooped. I'm surprised they actually got 14 points. Russell didn't play horrible. Pickens had some nice catches, even though Pickens pisses me off. But what are your thoughts on that game?
I mean, there's the Derrick Henry show. Like,
Yes, sir.
dude, he had 100. The Ravens had 299 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Henry had 186. Lamar had 86. Like, the Ravens are a wagon. They've been a wagon all year. They're arguably better than when they were the 1 seed last year.
Yeah.
Now, my only thing with the Ravens is like the fact that you kind of let them back in the game.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it wasn't a blowout, 28-14. Like,
dude, when they scored that other touchdown, I was sitting. My brother's a diehard Ravens fan. Loves Ravens. Loves Ravens. Loves murderers. All the Ravens are murderers. No. But at the end of the day, like, they scored 28-14, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, I looked at him and I was like, I'm a little worried. It's like, especially Lamar. Lamar, this game to me doesn't prove that Lamar is good in the playoffs.
No, I don't think so either.
At all. Like, he was good in the playoffs last year, but they played Houston, who beat up on the Browns in the first game, and they beat up on Joe Flacco, who had a bomb. Like, the start of that game was crazy because Joe Flacco had a absolute bomb for a touchdown, and it was like, you're like, oh my God, this could be crazy. And then out of nowhere, it's just horrible. And then they beat up on the Texans. They go from the divisional round to the AFC Championship game and play the Chiefs in Baltimore at M&T Bank Stadium. You're like, this might be another Baltimore Super Bowl.
Here comes Zay Flowers.
And what do they fucking do?
Yeah.
Run the ball for 4 fucking quarters and do absolutely nothing. It was one of the most frustrating performances by an offensive coordinator I have ever seen. It was like sitting there and you're like, what in the fuck are you doing?
Right.
And like, I think it's going to be a lot different. Early reports are a little bit unconfirmed on whether Zay Flowers is going to be back for this upcoming game.
Yeah.
Versus the Bills. I think if Zay Flowers is back, that adds a wrinkle that I'm not happy about. I do not want to see Zay Flowers on that football field.
No. Man, I made a bet that I thought was going to be a lock that day. I bet Mark Andrews anytime, especially with Zay Flowers. I thought it was a lock. He had a touchdown in like 5 or 4 straight games, something crazy. I had Lamar 50 yards and Lamar 225 passing. And I think that show he didn't throw for over 200 passing, and Mark Andrews didn't score, so I was kind of pissed. And I had them covering the spread, which they did. But
he threw for 170.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He threw, like, he's a good passer. Like, he's a really good passer. I had a horrible take when he came out of Louisville. I thought he should be a receiver. Yeah, I was done. One of the best quarterbacks in the league, 100%.
Yeah.
But I don't see the same ability in him that I do in, bias aside, like Patrick Mahomes. Like, Patrick Mahomes is the pinnacle of a quarterback in the NFL.
So we're finished talking about the Ravens, at least for now. We're going to be talking about who they're going to be playing in the divisional round. And that's the fucking Buffalo Bills, baby. Coming out of a huge win against the Broncos. They were, going into the weekend, they were maybe 9-point favorites and 8. And right before the game, they dropped to a 7.5-point favorites. Bills won 31-7. Most of analysis going into that game, they all said if there was an upset, they all said the Broncos. And John Gruden, that fucking psychopath, he was saying, I'm feeling something crazy coming out of Denver right now. And that scared me. But everything happened the way it should have. Obviously, the first quarter was a little scary. The first 2 plays were a little scary. But then the Bills got to go from there. I'm going to let you take the floor here and kind of describe your emotions through that 1 o'clock game.
Let me tell you something. I spent the weekend on the ice fishing. I had to listen to my brother be absolutely crazy about the Ravens. I was like, yeah, whatever. Saturday night comes around, watch the Ravens game, Ravens win. I'm like, all right, playing the Ravens. Wake up 7 a.m. Sunday morning, hungover, trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing, clean the cottage, drive home super fast, 3 hours, get back at 12:40, sit down, make a Caesar, and try to watch this football game without – I had to take my Apple Watch off. I can't watch games when the Bills play in the playoffs with my Apple Watch on because it says, oh, your heart rate's over 120 miles per hour.
Leave me alone.
You would think I was in the fucking game.
Yeah. I can see it. He texts in our chat. Like I'm like, he is running on the field right now. He is ready to play. It's all caps. It's you hold your hand on the caps button because there's no way you can type during a game without there being all caps. You're just ready for that.
I smashed the shit out of my phone. I text my friends like I'm a fucking loser. Then out of nowhere, I'm like, all right, sweet. We won the toss. We deferred. Whatever. We'll get through it. First drive. Broncos put together a few good plays. Third and 6, third and long, ish. Third and medium. I'm like, all right, they're just dumb ball. Then fucking Bo Nix decides to throw an absolute rainbow of a pass thinking you were from fucking Hawaii. You dumb fuck. Rainbow of a pass to his fucking former college teammate, Troy Franklin, for a 40-yard bomb touchdown. And I turned around and I looked and I was like, I might have to fucking drive into a fucking wall. Like,
of course, you have to hear Tony Romo. I told you, Jim. I told you the Denver's going to put on a good game here. It's like,
and then you sit there and you're like, all right, fine. And then Rasul Douglas after the game, they're interviewing him, and he's like, oh yeah, me and T-Rap, we were just, after that play, we had to get on the same page. How about you get on the same page at the fucking start of the game? How about that? You're an NFL football player.
Already.
How about you get on the same page at the start of like? It should have been 45-0. It's the fucking Denver Broncos with a rookie quarterback in Cortland Sutton. Sorry, they don't have a fucking run. They don't have any run game. The only thing they had for them, which it was a great statistic because the Bills went 5 red zone trips, 1 touchdown.
Right.
And they have the second best red zone defense, and the Bills had the third best red zone offense. In my opinion, if you go to the red zone 5 times against the second best red zone defense and you have the third best red zone offense, how about you score 2 fucking touchdowns? Please.
That makes sense. It makes sense. I agree with you.
Like, fuck. And then, the rest of the game I'm relatively happy with. I think the Broncos really kicked themselves in the ass. Like, James Cook, dog, had 86 yards in probably the first quarter and a half.
Ray Johnson, dog.
Ray Davis. Let's get it right. Put some respect on the kid's name after Josh Allen.
Episode 1.
But like, I'm happy they can't play that way this week.
No, they can't.
They need to have the game they had against the Patriots when they went 7 for 7 for drives, all touchdowns, 47-17. And I'll be honest, I'm going to this game.
Yeah, you are.
My dad called me earlier. How's your day? How you doing? Good. Ready for the game this weekend? Yeah. So we're going to have our wits about us because my brother's a Ravens fan and he's going to be wearing his hopefully he wears his Ray Lewis jersey, Not talking about murders.
No, we don't.
So, I'm sorry.
Friend of the podcast.
Ray Lewis would never see this, but if he does, one of my favorite linebackers ever, reason I wanted to play football forever. Huge friend of the podcast, friend of the program. But like, I don't know, stylistically, it's a crazy matchup.
The Ravens are likely favored in this game, right? Even though it's in Buffalo, Ravens beat them 35-10 in Week 4. They were 1-0 in the playoffs against the Ravens back in the 2021 AFC Divisional. But do you think the Ravens are like 2-point favorites or 1.5-point favorites going into this game?
No, well, the early line that we saw earlier showed the Bills as 1.5-point favorites.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think what the Bills need to do, what the Steelers did was smart in a sense. The problem with what the Steelers did is they said, all right, fuck it. We'll let Lamar Jackson do what Lamar Jackson does, and we will always tackle Derrick Henry or Justice Hill in the back.
Yeah.
You saw it 5 times in the first quarter where at the mesh point as Lamar is reading TJ Watt or Alex Highsmith on one side. He is saying, okay, if you're going to go down with him, I'm going to take the ball and run. What you need is to have a linebacker scrape over top. What the Steelers have is Peyton Wilson, amazing linebacker, I believe out of Utah or no, Wisconsin, I think. Amazing linebacker. Crazy good rookie.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one time where he got over top of the pulling guard. And if you have that, Lamar Jackson's running for 10. Like, you can't just give up first downs. So I think Buffalo needs to have that same kind of feel. Now, the nice thing is if you look at the matchup where, we got thumped, and I was texting my brother horrible things in week 3.
We'll talk about
that. It was week 4. Like, we didn't have Matt Milano, we didn't have Terrell Bernard, and we didn't have Taron Johnson.
Right.
And those 3 make what the Bills' defense is as an identity.
Yeah.
And you need those 3 to have a big game, and you need Ed Oliver to have an absolute crate. He needs to have his best game of the year.
Yeah.
We need to stop the run, which I'm going to say Henry's probably going to have over 100, at least a touchdown.
Yeah.
But if you can keep him between 100 to 120, like realistically, James Cook should have an okay game. Roquan Smith, where I think they can make their money against this Ravens defense is get Dalton Kincaid on Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith pass coverage all year, dog shit. Yeah. Dog shit. The Ravens paid him $110 million over fucking – he's one of the highest paid linebackers in the league, and he is horrible in pass coverage. Horrible in pass coverage. I wouldn't mind, too, if the Bills on defense ran a 3 linebacker set. Like, 3 linebacker set would be nice, but, like, I think you need to have ends crashing in, stopping Derrick Henry. You can't let Derrick Henry get to the second level. He cannot get to the second level. And, like, this game is going to be a dogfight. Like, I said it a few weeks ago. I said to my brother, it's like, if we play each other in the divisional round, like, Josh Allen's just going to have to go nuclear. He's going to go nuclear. And what I think that teams haven't queued on all year, and we've seen it in almost every game, is Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson has been a consistent third down, third running back who is just puts his head down, doesn't care what he has to do, team player. We need James Cook to go off. And, like, I would love to see Curtis Samuel get involved more. Like, I really love the Ravens defense is crazy. Like, they have Kyle Hamilton, they have Marlon Humphrey. Those are the bookends of their defense.
Yeah.
And Kyle Hamilton's gross.
Yeah.
Marlon Humphrey, my dad glazes him. Oh, I'd love him on the Bills. I fucking cannot stand him. He's so annoying. And I think, like, this game is going to be a dogfight that is either going to be 17-20 or like 24-20 in that area, or just 45-43.
Yeah.
Last second touchdown, last second field goal.
Is it projected to be like a snowball or what?
I don't know. I hope it is. This is my favorite. Like, even when I went and said the Bengals beat the Bills in the divisional round, like, snow games are so fun to go to.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, the weather plays a factor, right? Like, I mean, Baltimore, obviously outdoor stadium. But, they never get the snow that Buffalo does. It gets cold, but it doesn't get quite as cold as Buffalo does. So I don't know. That game is, like, to be honest, the Bills have less to lose. Or, like, if the Bills lose, it's like, okay, well, they made it that far with what was supposed to be a rebuild year or a transition year, and everyone wrote them off, and they finished 14-5.
Yeah.
I'll be pissed. Let me tell you. But at the end of the day, if the Ravens win, go on and lose in Kansas City, or if the Ravens lose to the Bills, like, there's a lot of questions.
For sure there is.
Like, Lamar in the playoffs. Either way, whoever loses that game, that quarterback is getting shredded.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I'll be honest, like, I haven't seen Lamar throw a pick in a while. It'd be nice to have him throw an interception. You know what? At the end of the day, people are pitting these two quarterbacks against each other. They're amazing. They're amazing quarterbacks. They're both great in different ways. I think Josh Allen's better, obviously. Like, I don't really care about the NFC, to be honest. Like, I do care about the NFC but dude, as soon as the Bucks got out last night, I was like, all right. No, I don't have a dog in the race. Like, I know you like the Lions because your brother likes the Lions, and I kind of like the Lions, Dan Campbell. But
yeah, I don't know. I think the Lions are gonna fucking toss around the Commanders. I mean, I did a parlay. I said Bills win, Eagles win, and I bet the Commanders. Want a good chunk of change there. I low-key wanted Baker to win because I love Baker. But again, it's one of those things we're talking about seeding. How Commanders are the 6th seed, but they're 12-5, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 10-7, and they were the 3rd seed. So, but it was a good game.
Yeah.
I mean, Jay Dale played the way he kind of has all season. I love Terry McLaurin though. He's one of my favorite receivers in the league. I love Scary Terry.
He just so consistent.
Yeah, he is.
So consistent. I don't know. I don't have a dog in the race in the NFC. I hope the Eagles get bounced. Yeah. I cannot stand other than Saquon and Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, like their whole offensive line, and then their defense, like Zach Bond, their one linebacker, crazy good. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's the AFC over everyone. Like,
yeah, I think
the AFC when it comes to quarterback talent, the NFC is just the hallmark of overpaying quarterbacks that don't deserve it.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, like you have fucking Jalen Hurts. We've already said overrated. Jared Goff, probably properly rated, but pocket passer is not mobile. In today's game,
you have to be mobile.
You have to be mobile. Like going into that 4th quarter, and I know we've talked about it in the office, but it's like going into that 4th quarter, the Bills were up. Like I can't even remember. It was something like 38-14 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then the Lions dive into their bag of tricks and then make it 42-45 or whatever it was. Like,
yeah.
You know, and then you have Jaden Daniels, who's a rookie who shows promise. Like, he's amazing. I saw a crazy stat actually. Carson Beck now is set to make $4 million next year playing for the University of Miami. He will be paid more than Bryce Young and Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he looks like a fucking human scab who is a turnover machine who won't do fucking anything at the University of Miami.
He's only going to see his girl there. The Cavender twin, whatever her name is,
Yeah, it's fucking like, and
it's crazy because at the beginning of the year, he was projected like top 5. I think at one point he was even projected like number 1, which I think is fucking absurd.
Yeah, this year's QB draft just stinks.
It stinks. It really stinks. I would hate for this to be the year where like the Titans or Raiders or Giants where you need a quarterback, in the Browns too, and it's just you have slim pick. I think Cam Moore's gonna be. I think you've talked about multiple times in the office. You think Jackson Dart's gonna be like the best quarterback in this draft class? So a quick little recap. So yeah, Texans, Chiefs, AFC divisional. I think we both have the Chiefs absolutely waxing the Texans. Ravens, Bills. It's gonna be a dogfight. I have a feeling you have the Bills in that one. So do I.
I don't bet on Bills anymore. I can't. It's like if I'm in a pick'em pool, I can't. If it's the Bills game, I'm not ever not taking the Bills.
Yeah. I know. I get it. Obviously, Detroit Commanders, NFC. We don't like it's whatever the NFC. I think Detroit waxes them. It's not even gonna be close in my opinion. Yeah. Eagles versus whoever wins Rams Vikings tonight. I think the Rams take it tonight. Eagles Rams. I think I might have the Rams honestly.
Yeah, well, the Rams going into the link, like, to be honest, like, if I'm an Eagles fan, I don't want Nick Sirianni coaching next year. Like, yeah, you had a great season. The only reason you had a great season was because of Saquon Barkley.
Right.
And you take Saquon Barkley off that team, they have 2,000 yards left. They have, like, fucking 1 million touchdowns left.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I like the NFC, again, I still have Bills, Detroit, Super Bowl.
Yeah, same.
I think that's America's game. I don't think, like, even this year, Buffalo's a more complete team than Kansas City. The only thing is like, the Ravens game gives me more fucking stress than going and playing it. Like, I would be happier to play Kansas City this week. Get it out of the way. Yeah, I would get it out of the way.
Yeah, I like that.
Get it out of the way. I mean, you'd have to go to Arrowhead, but like, I don't know. I think I would be happier to play Kansas City. They're coming off a bye. The Bills had like a mini bye because they didn't have to play their starters in Week 18. Like, we got out of that game relatively unscathed, other than Ray Davis got absolutely sent to the hospital.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, if it's Chiefs Lions, I'll buy a Lions jersey. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
If anyone can stop the three-peat, I think it's the Buffalo Bills. I don't think the Ravens are a put together enough team, although they are amazing. Derrick Henry would have to go off.
Yeah.
And say what you want about the Chiefs, the one core thing they always have is defense.
Yeah.
They've won 1 million one-score games this year based off their defense alone. So, I don't know. I want to take the Texans. I might take the Texans and I might ride it just for fun. Like,
they're really like plus like 370 or something, maybe even worse.
Yeah, I'll take the Texans and the Nico Collins anytime TD.
I like that.
That's a payday. Let me tell you.
Yeah. What do you? Well, let's talk about. We're gonna do something here where we do kind of our locks of the day, kind of near the end of each podcast. We'll kind of give our picks, and maybe throughout our time here, we will kind of see who has a better record. If the record won't be good on both sides, I don't think. But our record
would be like my fucking ping pong record, dude.
Yeah, it's. I didn't know if you wanted to bring that up, but
Ryan's a goat at ping pong.
So our record currently at our office where we work together, it's I think it's 85-7 for me. And yes, I know we're having some technical difficulties throughout this podcast, but that is not one. That's 85.
You're such a dick. Let me tell you something about his hands. He can fucking grip a ping pong battle.
I can do it. I can do whatever I want. But yeah,
right,
so what I got tonight, I got Jefferson over 70 plus. I honestly could see him absolutely blowing up for like 140 plus yards. I think he will carry this offense tonight, especially getting locked up by Detroit a few weeks ago. But I got Jefferson 70 plus reception yards, Matthew Stafford 225, and Kyron Williams anytime plus 220.
We're pretty close. I got Kyron Williams anytime TD.
It's such a lock. It's just he gets on every game. It's so boring.
Addison anytime TD. I think they're gonna lock Jefferson and have Addison. And then I got Darnold and Stafford over 225.
Nice.
So not horrible. Plus 525. I don't think it's a lock on the board. Don't think it's a lock. I think if I took out the Jordan Addison TD, it'd be a lock.
Yeah, I think that's the only one that may be holding you back when I talk with it.
But to be honest, I was really tempted to put in I think it's a Rager touchdown. Or no, Naylor. Yeah, Dalen Naylor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It'll be interesting. I think this is going to be I think this will be a slugfest, and I think it could be kind of 35-30 type game tonight, but we'll see. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm probably cheering for LA. I love Stafford. I love Puka. I mean, I don't hate Minnesota either. I'm happy for Sam Darnold and everything, but I think the Rams.
Well, yeah, if you're the Vikings, you now have to pay. He has now become. I was saying before the Lions game that I was telling you I think he's a $50 million quarterback. I don't think that anymore. I would go 30, 35, maybe high 30s, but
like 3 year, 38 a year or something.
To me, he's Kirk Cousins, but younger. Like, I didn't realize he's only 27, 28. Like, he buddies with Josh Allen. Great, like, overall good dude. Never forget, first actual NFL throw was a pick six playing on the Jets. You play on the Jets, you're going to throw a lot of interceptions. Ask Aaron Rodgers. Not a friend of the program. Not a friend. But yeah, I don't know. I have the Vikings coming out. Yeah. I do. I think the change in venue is going to be interesting. It being in Arizona, I don't know how. Obviously, with everything going on in LA, I don't know how many LA fans are going to get out there. But you never know.
Yeah, sadly, yeah. So I think we both have the Rams on that one. But we'll move on a little bit of
Vikings, though. I'm taking the Vikings.
You taking the Vikings?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I think it's a close game. I trust Stafford, but I think this is a go all the way or retire year for Stafford.
Yeah. It's 48 points, over or under. What do you think?
I'd take the over.
Take the over on that one? I do too. All right, that's it for today. Sorry for all the technical difficulties. Can't even fucking talk right. But we'll see what we can do. This was a lot of fun. I'm so excited to keep doing this. We want to do this for a long time. I honestly forgot we were on a laptop. It just seems like we're just fucking in our office, just talking like we normally do. This is a lot of fun. I'm excited for next week. I'm excited to keep this ride going. Go Buds Mafia, baby.
Yes, sir. If the Bills lose, the podcast is over. So,
well, just a quick note on that. Like, if they would have lost on Sunday, I don't think this would have happened. So it's I'm happy that at least we have episode 1. If they lose next weekend, then this is gonna be a one and done.
It's one and done, big one and done. But let me tell you something. When Troy Franklin scored that touchdown, I texted into our group chat and I said, "I'm gonna kill myself." Joke. Let me preface for the fans. Joke. Yep. Hand up. Yep. Shouldn't have said it. Yep. Quickly retracted my statement, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be there in the flesh, so
yes, sir. You will. Hope on a big screen. All right, brother. We'll see you next week. Well, I guess I'll see you fucking tomorrow. But we'll talk about next week. See, hopefully the Bills have a big dub there, and hopefully the Leafs are going 4-0. We'll talk to you next time.
Yes, sir. Cheers, brother.
See ya.
Fakes left, now taken off. Gonna run for it again.